One. All right, we are live. We're going. This is F101 episode 2. This is the first race preview of the year. I, as always, am Max, the host. I am joined by returning guest Dave.
Yes, it's me. I'm here in spirit and in body, but not in
In, s-
mind.
in spirit and in body, not in mind. Andrew, mind, body, spirit. Can we get a check?
Check on the body, check on the spirit. That's a negative on the mind as well.
All right, double negatives on the mind. We have Nat, who I believe is called in on her phone and might not be able to talk right now. Returning,
No, I
maybe.
got you. I'm here in spirit.
All right, here in spirit,
The
not
spirit.
necessarily
Lots of
in
spirit
body
this
or
week.
mind.
No, I'm coming back from work. So in spirit, I'm here.
Got it. And our final newcomer of the year, Hannah, is here.
Hi.
And for the audience's purposes, Hannah, your favorite driver and favorite team.
I'm a Williams fan. Favorite driver, Carlos Sainz.
Excellent. All right, so let's get into it. I could not convince Hannah to be a Red Bull fan, unfortunately. I tried my best, but she went with Williams, which is probably the better option in terms of vibes.
Well, this
So
one's Alpine, so I mean, we have plenty of room over here.
yeah, I mean that is true. That is.
Is Andrew laughing at me? The Haas fan? Is he laughing at me?
And did you say
Hey,
Alpine vibes? Because they are not good. They are not good.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer I can be on the train of cartoon villain with all the Epstein stuff, but I'm gonna try.
Well, if you
Dave.
switch teams, that is extremely valid. Or you could, like the drivers, just root for Pierre and Franco.
I mean, I picked it mostly for Pierre to begin with, and then ironically supporting Briatore, and now I'm like, okay, I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Get you your gift this year for doing all the thumbnails maybe won't be Alpine merch.
It might be Cadillac. We might be going down the ranks again.
All right, we'll cross that bridge. We'll burn that bridge when we get to it. But we got to get into this race preview first. We're finally here. It's been a long 12 weeks without a proper race, and while we kind of filled the gaps with the F101 trivia show and testing and a much needed break for me at least, you know, we're here, we're doing what we're all here for, and that's actual F1 racing. This year, Apple owns all the streaming rights for F1 in America. So if you want to watch F1, you got to get Apple TV. With Apple TV, you get F1 TV Premium. So, and it's cheaper than the cost of premium, like if you just go through F1 TV's website, which I don't think you can do anymore. I think it's only through Apple now. And you get all the Apple TV stuff, so I guess it's a good deal. I don't really know. I'll evaluate after the season is over. But I figured that was important for anyone who wanted to watch to know that like it's Apple this year. Um, I have some clarification on the 107% rule from last week. The official rule is that during qualifying, all cars must set a lap time within 107% of the fastest time from Q1, not pole position like I had said. It's just the fastest time from Q1. So if that time is 100 seconds and you lap slower than 107 seconds, you can't race for a safety issue. Just figured I would clear that up. Uh, the There's some other stuff that we talked about last week that I'm also going to cover, but it fit better in the race preview, and I didn't really know where to put the 107% rule thing, so I was like, just throw it at the beginning. Which Aston may or may not be in danger of, but there's a
Well, I
lot of
don't.
other
Yeah,
dangerous things about their car, which we'll get to.
I was gonna say. I think they might just want that to happen. I don't know if they want their car to be on the track.
Well, we'll get into Aston in a bit. But first, I'm gonna start doing the weekend schedule, just so it's easier for everyone to keep track of. All times are in Eastern Standard Time, which is where we're all at, and also it's the only real time zone. So practice one is tonight. Tonight at 8:30 p.m. It is in 2 hours. This episode cannot go for more than 2 hours because I'm gonna be watching it live. And then practice two is midnight tonight. Practice three is tomorrow at 8:30. qualifying is at midnight, and then the race is Saturday at 11 p.m. is when it starts. And it's Australia, so all the times are kind of wacky, and they're going to get even less EST friendly the next two races in China and Japan, and then it kind of normalizes for us. We kind of get back to our 9, 8 a.m. races until the American, the Western Hemisphere stints. I think China starts at like 2 a.m. and Japan starts at like 4 a.m. or something like that. It's rough.
Midnight Rager, baby.
Yeah, I will just watch the recording when I wake up in the morning. I'm not staying up. So that's the schedule. And now I wrote down some quick track stats. I'm also going to try and do this going forward. Melbourne is a temporary street circuit, Albert Park street circuit, but it's a little more established and like as a racetrack, and it's certainly less commuted on than places like Baku, Miami, and Vegas, because it's in a park on an island. Um, so it's a little more road cars aren't driving on it as frequently as like main roads in Baku or the parking lot of the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami or the Vegas Strip. Um, so even though you don't deal with like the normal road conditions of a street circuit, it can still get a little sketchy, especially for the practices. Turns 9 through 12 are pretty notorious at this point. They've caught out a lot of drivers multiple times. I think it was turn 10 last year or 2 years ago. Like 4 people in a row just didn't make the turn. So that's exciting. That's something to look forward to. The race is 58 laps long. Each lap is a little over 5 kilometers. Total distance is 306 kilometers. I think 300 kilometers is the minimum distance for each race, aside from Monaco. And then Leclerc has the fastest ever lap back in 2024 with a 1:19.8. Last year, the average lap time was around a 1:23.24. Norris had the fastest lap with a 1:22. And these cars are probably a little slower overall. So I don't know if we're probably not going to set any speed records, but hopefully there's some good racing, which is the point of the new regs was good racing. And no one's confident that we're going to get it.
Well, especially Aston Martin, because they're not going to
Well,
be racing.
exactly. They will. Well, again, they are going to be racing. They have to race. It's like a rule. Uh, we'll just get into Aston Martin because it's at the top of everyone's mind. So every team signs the Concord Agreement at the beginning of each year, which just sets the rules. And in the Concord Agreement is every team that signs it has to enter every race. You can't skip any. Which is why that Aston has kind of been saying like we're gonna do the formation lap in the first lap, and then we're gonna come into the pits. So there's been a lot of problems at Aston recently. um, the big one that was kind of been talked about yesterday and today is that the engine. So it all started out with the engine not fitting in the car. So then they had to redesign the car, and then the engine broke the battery, and so they had to, and they can't do anything about that. And then the engine is just slow, and there's nothing they can do about that either. And now apparently the engine vibrates the car so much when they drive that parts are falling off of the car, the mirrors, bodywork, stuff inside the car is coming apart. And the vibrations are so bad that it is like has the potential to cause nerve damage in the hands of their drivers. So Fernando and Lance have like can only drive so much without getting like risking nerve damage. Fernando said he could go 25 laps. Lance said he can only do 15. And all the people reporting on that is kind of doing Lance dirty because it seems to omit that Lance broke both of his wrists last year and is still like recovering from that. So the car, not only can the car not like probably competitively make a whole race distance. It also the drivers can't survive a whole race distance, and the car probably can't even survive a whole race distance. So it's going to be very interesting to kind of see how that plays out in real time. Are they just going to take the formation lap and then the first lap and then like go to the pit so they don't break the agreement? Are they going to try and do like 6 laps, which is what I heard? Are they going to hit double digits? It's unknown at this point, but it's a total disaster is what it is.
I just want to point out that last week I put in my bold predictions that Alonso retired mid-season before any of this happened, and
No,
that's looking pretty good.
I thought your bold prediction
My
was Lance retiring.
Lance to score a single point.
He
Was
never
it Lance
outqualifies
or?
Alonso, and Lance retires midseason. You have Lance retiring midseason, not
Oh
Alonso.
dang it! They're both going to retire midseason. This is a dumpster fire. Adrian Newey's washed. Lewis Hamilton's washed. All your goats are washed. It's a time for a new world order, and
And who's
yeah,
gonna usher that in?
uh, uh, Pinto.
Okay.
He's coming. He's coming fast. He's coming hard. Okay.
He's messaging MILFs on Twitter again.
He better be. That's what gets him racing fast and going. He can hit my mom if he wants.
Okay, I'm just gonna like move on after that. Um, so what else do I have? So yeah, we'll retouch on Aston. Yeah, that's basically it. The engine isn't strong enough, the battery can't operate properly, the car vibrates so much that pieces just fall off, and the drivers risk nerve damage from driving too long. It's horrible. It's gone very poorly. Part of the reason the Honda engine is so slow is because when Honda announced their partner with Aston Martin, all of the top people that worked on the Red Bull engine left the company for Red Bull's own engine company. So Honda was on the back foot, and then Adrian Newey comes in and he was like, "The engine doesn't fit in my design. You have to redo the engine." And I was like, "Well, we can't. That's like not possible. You have to redo your design." And I think he said no. So Lawrence Stroll throwing all of the money in the world at the team is not helping him right now.
Well, yeah, now he has to put a whole bunch of money into PR and a court case, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So back to Australia. Uh, it is the home race of Oscar Piastri. No Australian has ever podiumed in their home race, so that is something to keep in mind. Maybe he can break that curse. And no matter what happens, this is where we'll really see how much everyone was hiding and testing, how much people were sandbagging, who's really the fastest. The practice sessions for the teams are going to be very critical for like them and for us in understanding where everyone stands as we kind of get ready for the first race of the season. Uh, Practice times, again, they kind of don't mean anything, but they kind of do. It's just it more it really just depends. In a first like race of new regs, I think the practice times are gonna be way more indicative like of who is going to be the fastest and who isn't. Um, Whereas the practice times last year, a lot of the time, like it kind of wasn't as important because we already knew what the cars were capable of, and it was more teams just testing certain setups and stuff for each race. Um, but if there was ever a race where it's all to play for, I think it's this one. I think really almost anyone could end up winning this race if certain chaos happens. I would expect some unreliability from the cars, some chaos, some surprises. Albert Park in general is a pretty like tough circuit. It has a lot of unforgiving corners. There's a lot of intense gravel trap, a lot of high speeds. And there's not a lot of room for error. Last year it rained, so that's always a possibility to shake things up. It kind of rained out of nowhere. I don't know what the weather is like for this week. I don't think there's going to be rain. No one said anything about rain. But it could. I don't think it will though. Uh, but this race in no way, I think, defines who is going to be on top at the end of the year. But starting the season strong is important to every team. But just because one team wins here doesn't mean that, everyone else will have a chance to catch up. Um, Q1, sorry, I had to get some water. Q1, I think is going to be very interesting. There's going to be two extra cars on the grid. Plus qualifying is extra tricky this year. According to Komatsu, the Haas TP, shout out to Haas, getting the car in the right spot for qualifying is very difficult and has super thin margins. If you don't have 100% battery at the start of the lap, you could lose over a second of time, and that would essentially end your qualifying. So that's going to be really tricky driving, something most of the drivers have already talked about in the preseason sessions. And we could see some big shakeups if a front team kind of messes up on that like outlap as they prepare for their qualifying run. There are new rules this year in qualifying. Instead of 5 cars eliminated in Q1 and 2, it's now 6. So the top 16 move on from Q1, the top instead of 15, and then again it's the top 10 move on from Q2 to the final top 10 shootout in Q3. So I'm sure there's going to be a moment at least once this year where a driver's really upset to be in P16 thinking they just missed out only to find out nope, that was good enough. So you get to go through.
Also, if Aston Martin and Cadillac are both as bad as everyone says, the rest of the midfield teams are like, really, they're going to have great qualifying. So it's basically all going to make it to Q2. The bottom 4 spots are already set in stone.
Yeah, I don't know how bad Aston or Cadillac's going to be in qualifying. I think any car can be pretty decent over one lap. They might kind of fall off during the race. Because I mean, the times in Bahrain weren't horrible. I don't think they did any qualifying sessions, so we don't really know. Like any qualifying practice, I should say. We don't really know. But I wouldn't like fully expect them to be. I mean, Aston is going to be, you know, dead last. I think that everyone believes. I don't even know if they'll set a time, but um, so the so that's 2 of the slots. So basically, it's the bottom 4 drivers. And yeah,
Good news
Cadillac
for me and
is
Andrew. And
yeah,
and Hannah. All of our mid-tier teams.
yeah.
Williams on top this year, though. I'm calling it now.
You have called it. That is true. On top of everything. This is not on top of the mid tiers. This is on top of the whole thing.
Yeah, they'll get there. I believe. See, I have the power of belief and hope. Okay.
You have the
What's that
power of
like?
Carlos Sainz thirst traps. Okay, it's a little different.
Maybe, but that's enough to power a whole different Formula One team, man.
It's
I'm
enough
starting
power
to
to
start my own
power
team.
a whole generation. Some would say.
Carlos Sainz and thirst traps don't have the power of Lewis's, unfortunately.
That's true.
Oh, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Danica Patrick. Everyone hated her so much. If you don't know, Lewis Hamilton has every time he posts a thirst trap, someone in F1 gets fired. This time it was Danica Patrick getting canned from Sky Sports broadcast, and everyone rejoiced because she
Woo.
was awful.
Shout out Lewis Hamilton instituting institutional changes in F1 through the power of thirst traps.
Yeah, here, you know what, Lewis, post another one. Get Briatore out of here. Make Alpine fun to root for. Although the
Yes.
monkey paw situation is Horner comes in and takes over.
That
Oh
probably would
God.
happen.
But hey, at least he's not in the files.
He's not yet. I don't know if he was old enough, but who knows?
I don't think he was rich enough at the time.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think if he had a chance, he would have. And I don't know if that might be as bad.
I
But
believe that for sure. Is that, are we in trouble for saying that? It's okay. No one listens to
yeah,
this. Oh,
you'll never find me.
Gonna come back to bite you in the butt in like 8 years when you're famous.
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I'm famous
Red
and
Bull,
Christian.
Red Bull
I'm
Racing
talking
is
to
like,
Christian Horner
we
at a
were
dinner.
gonna hire you, but you talked about our former boss, like really weirdly.
I showed up to the interview and Christian Horner's there, and I'm like, gosh, shit.
I go, is
He's
that
gonna find
your?
out.
And I'd ask, hey, in that Google Drive photo, was that your dick or was it your finger? I need to know.
Oh no.
Can we
The
compare?
world needs to know.
I
Yeah,
want to compare figures with him real quick.
we're pretty sure it was.
Mine's kind of bent out of shape right now, so it might
We're
look
pretty
like
sure it was the
his.
finger. We're pretty sure it was the finger. Moving on from Christian Horner. Last week we talked about the race starts and official news. The FIA is set to provide a pre-start warning that gives drivers 5 seconds to start building the revs before the starting light sequence begins. So there's the answer. They amended the rules, and it doesn't seem too intense of a change. And all of those videos of the Ferrari launching better than everyone else in Bahrain was apparently from after they were testing out this new rule set. So Ferrari's advantage doesn't necessarily go away. So basically what's gonna happen is they're gonna do the formation lap. and then on the lights, they're going to flash blue for 5 seconds, and then they'll count down. So everyone in the front's tires are going to be ice cold by then, and everyone in the back is going to be fine. So it's going to be very. I imagine this will change throughout the year. I can't imagine the top teams being too happy with like the extra time to just sit on the grid. Especially in like the hotter races where you're just kind of like hooking. um, so I imagine that this will change. We'll keep an eye on it as the season goes on. Like I mentioned earlier, it is Piastri's home race, and an Australian has never finished on the podium, so he's going to want to put on a good show for his home crowd. He did really well last year before losing it in the rain. And while he didn't crash, he fell all the way from the front of the pack, or chasing the front, to ninth. He's in a good position though this year. McLaren is viewed to be in the top 4, but there's not much else to go on other than vibes and testing data that saw some teams do race sims, but no one went all out. So it's going to be, obviously, like we talked last week, the vibes are there that McLaren's in the top 4. We'll see how they actually perform. I would expect them to perform well. I can't imagine they would have like a 2020 moment where they're dead last by a long shot. So we will, it's going to be, I think it'll be a good race for Oscar. I hope he does well. I hope he does better this year than he did last year, in his home race, and maybe we'll see the first ever Australian on a podium.
And maybe we can finally bury the narrative of having 2 number 1 drivers. Maybe it'll be more competitive. Maybe we won't have to hear about that every single week about papaya rules, and we can have some new stuff happening this year.
Well, it just depends. We'll only hear about papaya rules and 2 number 1 drivers if McLaren's winning. I think if they're not like competing for wins, it's not going to matter.
Oh, good. So we're all in accordance here, because Nate's not here, that they should not win.
Well, Matt's a Lando fan. Nat loves.
Cough, I'm still here.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Ooh,
You know
But
what?
I
okay.
agree with you. I agree with you though. Like I feel like I'm not expecting them to be the top car this year. Like I think, but I don't know. Like I feel like they're gonna be where maybe like Red Bull was like last year. That's my gut feeling.
Mm.
I mean, I think even Nate would agree that having it be a little bit more competitive would help, because then every single week it's not me ragging on the
He doesn't have to.
the McLaren drivers.
Doesn't have to listen to the 2 of us just going off on the team.
How dare they be good? I hate them.
No,
They
I
They
think
should
it'll
crash
be.
into each other. They should crash into each other and then kiss it out.
We could put in a Zach Brown hate segment each week if we really wanted to.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
we
good with that.
should.
I think we're all on board.
Yeah. I think most of F1 fans are on board at this point, especially after DTS. Like, he was in everything. Andrea Stella is the team principal of that team.
Yeah.
So Zach Brown has
Barely.
nothing to do with the team. like on paper, I should say on paper.
Are there any team principals people like? Is like people like Toto, right?
Toto,
I
people
guess.
love Toto. I love Toto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Toto's kind of fun.
This
So he's the-
this is a Toto friendly household.
It is. Yeah.
We love
It's
Toto
okay.
Wolff.
I'm
He's
missing my name,
so
but I like
funny.
the Williams principal. The Williams principal is good.
Yeah, he
Vowles.
is. James
Yeah,
Vowles.
Val. Yeah, James.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And I
And Jonathan
really
Wheatley.
I really
Jonathan-
came around on Jonathan Wheatley after DTS. Like that was the only good part of the season. I really liked his episode. Komatsu, the Hawks TP, people don't have people like him. He's way better than Steiner, but I mean, I might be the
He kind
wrong
of
person to ask.
flies under the radar a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel like.
definitely.
That's what the team needs after Steiner. I hate that
Yeah,
man.
Peter did not fly under the radar whatsoever.
Yeah. Lawrence. Well, I think the Aston TP is now Newey. It used to be Mike Crack, which is just a great name. But now it's Newey. I think people kind of just, I don't know. People like him as a designer. This is his first year as a TP, so we'll see. Kind of, it hasn't gone off to a great start.
Oh no, pretty actually maybe one of the worst starts. I've only been here a year, but it seems pretty bad.
No, yeah, it actually I think is one of the worst starts in the history of the sport.
So, and he was basically like, no, you need to change your engine because
It didn't
like my
fit in his
style of the
design.
car. That's how they're gonna lose. Is because he made that decision. Like, what do you
Yeah,
mean? Change like you have to work together. Like cooperate. Like, come on.
yeah, I think
Compromise.
Nui kind of has this like air about him of being the best like car designer, and like he is for sure an amazing like aerodynamically he's great. He's a great designer. Is he like a good team principal? We'll find out. But part of the reason which I mentioned earlier is that like Honda also lost a ton of their engine guys when they moved to Aston. And they all jumped ship to join Red Bull powertrain. Um, so all the people that made the Red Bull engine that won almost every race in 2023, that gave us like the reign of terror of Max Verstappen, it terrorized the British, country for years and for multiple years. Um, they're all gone. And Newey designed the arrow, but like people forget the Red Bull notoriously was bad, and it was Max Verstappen that was good. And Dewey has designed some absolute stinkers. But again, he is also very talented, and when he gets it right, it's amazing. But he clearly
And to
hasn't
be
gotten it right
fair,
yet.
to Newey, there's like I can make a 97 theses on why Aston Martin is going to lose, and only like 50 of them are Lance Stroll. But like that team
Oof.
is a dumpster fire.
It is really bad. Lawrence Stroll has slowly been selling parts of it to Saudi Arabia. So
Oh no.
When one of your drivers is getting asked if he's going to retire mid-season at the very beginning of this, like before the season starts, like how much worse can you get?
yeah, it's
I
been
wonder if we're even gonna have an Aston Martin team next year, depending on how this goes.
That would be crazy.
yeah, 1 year of it's 1 year of 11 teams, but in this year, the 11th one of the teams can't even race, so it's still 20 cars on track.
It's not even that they just like can't financially go on. It's that they cannot make a car. It's like they're
Yeah.
technically still in F1. They just literally don't have a car to put out.
Well, if they wanted to, they should partner with another British car band that desperately needs saving for their brand, Jaguar.
Or they
Get
can just become a
Jaguar back in racing.
subsidiary. They can
Yeah.
become like Red Bull and just be the new, Alpine second team or something.
Maybe I think Aston's probably waiting for like the new James Bond to reboot, and then they'll like do a marketing thing with that, and then they're just gonna hope that that somehow gives them speed.
They'll hire the actor, whoever the next James Bond is, to drive the car.
To replace Lance.
Replace both of
Jesus.
them. Like Alonso, I don't. Is he gonna go another year after this? Like it's so bad. He's
Last year he said
45.
Last year he said that if the car wasn't competitive, he would go because he wants to feel like
Yeah,
he has a chance. He's gonna, but if the car was competitive and he didn't win, he would retire because he was like, I had my chance, I didn't get it.
that's
But that
fair.
might change.
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's very not competitive.
yeah,
Yeah,
place your bets now. Will he make it to the end of the season?
I think he'll
I
No.
make it to the end of the season. I
yeah,
think
I
he
agree.
will come back next year.
Yeah, I
If his bones stay intact.
Aston might need two drivers next year. We'll see. Yeah, it's horrible. It's so it is the worst. So I'm actually really excited for practice one, just because I know half of that hour-long session is going to be talking about Aston Martin.
The car is literally giving out bad vibes. Like, come on.
Literally, we should get sponsored by like
Hitachi?
yeah. um
The construction company Hitachi.
yes, yeah, obviously the construction company. Um maybe they'll paint it like a rose.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, get sponsored by Adam and Eve or something. All that,
Exactly.
all the vibration.
So that's how we fix Aston. Was we get them sponsored by a bunch of sex toys.
we put vibrators up the driver's asses, and they'll drive better.
God.
It'll counteract the car's vibration.
At the very
There you
least, we'll
go.
be having a better time in the car.
Yeah.
If nothing else, Uh, yeah. So let's move on before we got other teams to talk about. And one thing I want to talk about racing wise is that energy deployment. I kind of mentioned this in the qualifying thing with the active arrow is really important to watch. Cars have been kind of running out of battery halfway through laps during testing, especially on the straights. And that would leave them a sitting duck for anyone behind them. So we'll also get to see the new active arrow in action, which is designed to make overtaking easier. Now, a lot of the drivers aren't very confident that it's going to do that, but we will see. Uh, so the active arrow means like the front wing and the rear wing can kind of like flex and change at will. There's that new overtake mode kind of where if you're within a second at the start of the lap of the car in front of you, then you can use like the active overtake mode at any point in the lap. It's no longer DRS zones or detection zones. It's just there's one detection zone likely at the end of the lap, and if you're within a second, you can use that extra boost whenever you want during the lap. Most likely, in overtaking zones and during the straights where the normal DRS zones were. Um, but it is different and there's more strategy involved with it. So hopefully that actually does make racing a little more tighter, a little more interesting.
I'm hoping that at least for the beginning of the season that we get a lot of overtakes, if not just by incompetence. From what I've heard, it seems like the battery management and the active arrow, like there's a lot more to consider when you're going around a lap. And so maybe we'll just get, some of the not great drivers or maybe drivers who haven't figured it out yet, just bricking it halfway
Yeah.
through the lap and getting overtaken.
And reliability as well. These are new cars with new engines, with new regulations. Reliability is definitely a concern. Anyone's engine, I think, has the potential to just kind of quit out. Some teams more than others, but Aston Martin. But we will. It's definitely. I think there's a lot of potential for chaos. But let's get to the kind of current pecking order. As I stated last week, is Mark, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull pretty much in that order as the top four. That's kind of where the vibes are at. Haas and Alpine are battling out for fifth. I'm gonna make Dave and Andrew physically battle it out as well.
What?
When we all hang out again. Andrew, you do have the size advantage, so I am giving Dave a weapon. Just be prepared. Racing Bulls
Okay.
and Audi are gonna be behind them. Cadillac is the new team is towards the back, but not dead last. That crown belongs to Aston. Where is Williams and all that? I honestly don't know. They've stated that they'll be on the back foot for the start of the year. But does that mean they're Aston bad? Does that mean they're kind of roughing it with Racing Bulls, Audi, and Cadillac? Or are they fighting for fifth with Haas and Alpine instead of podiums like they wanted to? They're not telling. So we'll only know when the racing starts. But my guess is they're kind of going to be in that Racing Bulls, Audi tier. They might not be able to take it to Haas and Alpine just yet because of all the problems they've had in development. But I think they are going to fix that. If last year's any indication, James Vowles is got a very good grip on that team. He's very good at making sure the development continues throughout the year. And they went from, they weren't doing great at the start of last year, and Carlos Sainz podiumed 3 times. One of them was a sprint, so it's less weighty, but he podiumed in 2 separate races last year, which is really impressive he started the year not finishing the first race. So I think Williams, if they start rough, is still going to be in a good position to finish strong and recover, hopefully quickly.
They were basically the only midfield team last year too. It was the top 4, Williams, and then everyone else.
Everyone else.
And then Alpine. Alpine was below low tier.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a little tighter. I think it's going to be, you got the top 4, then you've got Alpine, Haas, and hopefully Williams kind of in that 5th. Hopefully Williams kind of makes it a top 5 would be very nice. And then you have kind of Racing Bulls, Audi, and then Cadillac and Aston. And Cadillac is an unknown. Everyone's kind of expecting them to be kind of second to last, but they could surprise everybody. And they have two really good drivers. Like, even if the car isn't great, they have two really good drivers, very experienced drivers that are going to help that team improve over the year. Um, the most pressure right now is on Aston Martin. I say probably here. I wrote this on Monday. The most pressure is on Aston Martin to recover, and then I think it's on McLaren to defend their championships. Mercedes has the highest expectations right now, but no one has more hopium than the Tifosi, and it is all on Ferrari to deliver on that hopium, which is going to make the heartbreak that much sweeter. And Red Bull has been uncharacteristically quiet. But as always, you cannot count out Max Verstappen. Hadjar on the other side of the garage isn't expected to match Max right off rip, but he's definitely expected to be a lot closer than Liam or Yuki or Checo at the end of his kind of stint was, or Pierre or Alex or Daniel, any of the number of teammates he's had that he's destroyed. I mean, Daniel, he was very close to, but Daniel kind of saw the writing on the wall. But anyway, further down the grid, the potential of an Alpine and a Haas fight is very exciting for everyone involved, I think, and that includes us as spectators. And it's going to really motivate all four of those drivers. If the Haas is truly competitive, I'm very excited to see what Behrman can do with it. I think he's going to be a very fun driver to watch this year if that Haas is good. Especially given his performance at the end of last year. I mean, he almost podiumed in a Haas, which is crazy. He recently gave an interview talking about that moment in Mexico where Max was chasing him down, and he was like, "This is like the best moment of my life." I'm being hunted by Max Verstappen. Um, so I'm excited to see what Behrman can do in that Haas. I'm excited to see what the Haas is capable of. Uh, Further on, Racing Bulls, I think they're going to play the disruptor again this year. You've got Liam, you can pass me, but it'll cost you Lawson, and new cover Arvid Lindblad, and rookies are always a wild card. And then Audi, I think, could also fall into this category, but I think they're kind of likely in the camp of Williams and Aston looking to understand their cars better just because Audi's engine is their own engine. They're not a customer team, they're a works team. So there's going to be a lot of learning to do. I know it's kind of like vibes right now, but next week we'll have a preview based on actual performance and actual data, as opposed to just vibes and what happened in testing. So that's
It
the
is
preview.
so weird that Max is not like last year. Max basically carried the F1 news so many weeks, and
Yeah,
we haven't really heard anything about him. I mean, this week's thumbnail is mostly Australia that's called Mad Max that is on the thumbnail, but it's
yeah.
also hoping that it's going to age well. That Max is going to cause some absolute chaos in Australia
I hope so.
and give his mark.
I mean, I
Also,
think he's
seeing
been
Cola.
busy with a newborn.
Oh, he has another newborn?
Well, no, but I mean, the kid's still pretty young. The kid's not even a year old.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably spent a lot of time in the simulators, while his newborn's.
Certainly. He
Maybe the newborn's there or not, I don't know.
they did like a fun little media thing where they had him drive a shopping cart with an engine on it, and like they asked him about it, and he was like, it doesn't matter what the car is, if it's an F1 car, if it's a GT car, if it's a shopping cart, I'm going to drive that car to like push that car past its limits. I'm going to drive that shopping cart as fast as it can go.
I need to see Max Verstappen in one of those Barbie Jeeps racing against his
Oh my
daughter.
god.
No.
That
That
would
is
be
what I
awesome. Down
need.
the streets of Monaco.
Down the highway, I don't care.
I mean,
I
he
just need to
lives
see
in
him inside of
Monaco.
it. Oh, okay, yeah, that works. But literally anywhere. I just need to see him in it. I need to see him going as hard as possible. I need to see him break that Barbie Jeep.
You're driving on the Autobahn in Germany, and you're going 100 miles an hour. And you look to your right, and Max Verstappen in a Barbie Jeep that is not modified in any way is somehow keeping pace with you.
And you just hear the music in the back. And
Yeah,
that's
that
it.
is. I think there is a few drivers that kind of go to sleep and have nightmares about that song.
Also, I'm looking forward to seeing Colapinto in an actual car. Maybe he can do something, but this is his chance. I want to see him do literally anything.
2 years ago, when he joined Williams halfway through the year, he had a pretty good debut, and then he kept crashing the car.
I'm
And then
okay with
last
him crashing
year,
the car. To be clear,
last year he was in the worst Aston, or the worst Alpine. I'm sorry, and so it's hard. I feel like no one really knows what he's truly capable of. He had some good races, but I'd like to see more consistency.
I'd like to see him do literally anything. That last race of last year, I was hoping him as a back marker could throw some wrenches in McLaren or something, but
Well,
no,
he hit Piastri in Austria,
he did. That's what I need. I need
so
him to be Lawson. I need him more like Lawson, and less like, I don't know, Ocon, the most boring driver on the grid.
yeah, I don't know. And when Ocon gets into fights, he can get pretty like on track fights. He can get pretty feisty, but he hasn't really had the opportunity. And he was the only teammate beaten by the rookie
And then he
driver.
turned into a robot
So,
and died. Oh, he's
oh,
back.
sorry.
Okay.
Oh,
We
He
lost
was
you
the
for a
only.
bit. Are you back?
Can
I
you hear
think he's
me?
in and out.
Okay, I'm taking over the show.
All right,
okay.
Dave, it's all you.
All me. Okay, guys, what's your top 5?
Top 5 what?
Well, I know Carlos Sainz is on top, so who's number 2?
To it. All right, we're back live again. Everything broke,
Yay.
everything crashed. This might not get uploaded, or it might be uploaded into a second part. Which is fine because this is the pick the podium section. That's where we're at.
Yay.
So pick the podium is back. The scoring is as follows: correctly predicting first place gets you 25 points. Second gets you 18, and third gets you 15. If you get the right person in the wrong place, for example, you picked Verstappen second, but he got first, you get 8 points. We're also doing sprints this year. So first gets you 8 points, second gets you 7, third gets you 6. Right person, wrong place gets you 3. Just like real life, sprints are worth much less. And there isn't a sprint this week. There's a sprint next week in China, but I figured I would or next race in China, I figured I would just get the scoring all out of the way at once. And before we get into our actual podium picks, I have some intros, I have some stats, so let's dive right into it. The first thing here is my new empire. Max has taken over as the reigning champ of Pick the Podium. Surely he'll be a gracious and kind leader. Followed up here by your new empire. Andrew, as the previous champion, is coming to reclaim his crown. Hopefully, this battle doesn't end with anyone underestimating anyone else's powers. Uh, you've got shit, here we go again. Nate, Sam, and Dave return to chase glory. Some go for gold, while others go for style points. Regardless, it'll be an entertaining battle. Breaking the cycle, Nate and Sam, who are both not here. Nate has gotten third both years in a row, while Sam got second. Who has what it takes to change their fate? New challengers approach. Hannah and Nat are this year's new Pick the Podium contestants. Nat comes in with a completely fresh start, while Hannah currently is the only person to have a 100% accuracy rate in any category, having correctly guessed Max Verstappen to win the US Grand Prix during her guest pick in week 19 last year. She also gets
Hell
Russell in
yeah.
second and Albin in third. Neither of those two happened, but Max did win. So there's a nice, shiny 100%. So let's see if you can keep it up. And finally, I want more. There's 126 more points available now with sprint races. You thought the math got complicated last year. Just you wait. So that is Pick the Podium. I will go first because I won last year. And then we'll go me. And then Sam, I'll give you Sam's. Then I'll give you Nate's. Then we'll go Andrew, Dave, and then Hannah, Nat.
Yeah, I beat Hannah and Nat just barely last year.
Just barely. Just barely.
Oh
So
no.
my prediction, and I think a lot of people are gonna vibe with this. I think George Russell. Oops, that's the wrong category here. I think George Russell is going to win in Australia, and then I think second place is going to be Oscar Piastri. I think he's going to break the curse, and then I think Leclerc is going to get third. I think Ferrari is hitting the podium. I think they're getting third, and I think only one is getting there, and it's not going to be Lewis, not yet. So that is my prediction. And then Sam's is, hold on, let me pull it up. Sam's is, much like me, George Russell in first, followed by Max Verstappen in second, with Lando Norris in third. Nate has Lando Norris in third place. He's broken his streak. And then he has Russell coming in second, and he has Leclerc, who he thinks is going to win it all this year, coming in first. So we'll see if Nate picks Leclerc to win every single race this year, like he did with Norris last year. Andrew, your podiums.
So I struggled with this one a little bit today, but I gotta go back to the tried and true. I think the killer instinct is still there. I think he's the best driver on the grid. It's gonna be Max in first.
Okay.
I think Charles will be in second, and I think we get a classic do nothing gets third from Russell.
I like that. I like that out of you. Dave?
I'm gonna go with Hulkenberg in first,
All right.
and then we'll do Albon in second,
Okay.
Nice.
and and
Any
then
of
we'll
the
do Hadjar in third.
Okay. All right. I will say with Pick the Podium this year, with our two new drivers, there are now, and a rookie, there are 3 drivers you've never picked for Pick the Podium.
I still
One
haven't
of
picked
those
them, not
drivers,
yet.
one of those drivers other people have chosen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Becca was chosen multiple times in 24.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot
I
about
had him on the
him.
podium first week.
He did. All right, Hannah.
All right. I'm playing it a little safe just to see what's up. I'm going George Russell, Max Verstappen, and Oscar Piastri.
All right, and finally, last but certainly not least, Nat.
I am also doing George Russell in P1,
A lot
and
of
then I'm gonna
Russell.
go Lando P2 and Charles P3.
All right. So
A lot
no
of
one.
George and a lot of Charles.
There's a lot of George, a lot of Charles. No one is the exact same uh podium, which is interesting. It's
I
nice.
love
So
that
no,
out of
It's
us.
good. It's good.
yeah,
I mean, we have
We
no
got
idea what's gonna
rain.
happen this year.
it'd be amazing if we somehow all got 0 points.
That would
I'd be
be
more scared
honestly,
if
it's
Dave got
probably gonna
points.
happen.
What?
Yeah,
Why are you
yeah.
scared about that? What's wrong? There's that Red Bull
Dave's
in
getting a
there.
perfect weekend. Dave's getting a perfect weekend.
We literally, by the way, I don't think we talked about Audi at all this week.
Very
That's true. We
briefly.
have not.
Very briefly. I just mentioned they're kind of going to be figuring out their engine. Uh,
Okay, yeah.
a lot
First
of
mention of Hulkenberg, at least.
yeah.
Maybe this entire year.
We'll see. We'll see what they can do. I've got some faith in them and Mr. Wheatley over there. So that is Pick the Podium. And I don't know if this part is getting up on YouTube or not. But because the stream crashed. But
Yay.
thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. And we
Ooh.
will be back next week with the Australia review. And that's it. It's not a double episode next week. We'll just be reviewing the race. Uh it is on Thursday and the race is Saturday night. So if you have any initial reactions, I would recommend writing them down so you don't forget.
Okay.
Oh, that's like my whole style, I think.
Well, that's all right, everyone else. Everybody else. Write it down so you don't forget. Thank you
I'm so
guys for being
excited.
here. Yes, I'm very excited. I think it's gonna be a good opening. It's gonna be a good opening
Yeah.
race, I think.
Yay.
So thank you for being here and for dealing with the technical difficulties, and I will see you all next week. Good night.